Short for fanatic is the one who's screaming their lungs out in sub-zero degree temperatures, still believing when the chips are down, and never, ever giving up on their teams or their players. From the closest seat to the worst one, we want to meet you all. This is the American Fan.
What's going on, sports fans? It's Josh Williams back again with another episode of the American Fan 365 podcast. And as you can see, we already are starting to tinker and dabble. We've got our rolling ticker at the bottom, and we've got some more news coming up. I may or may not disclose at the end of this episode, but I will say some big things are coming. But without further ado, I have to introduce the beard. Oh, the beard is slowly creeping back to.
Oh, where'd he go?
Oh, wait.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, wait.
It's kind of crazy how my angle isn't there, but like it'll be there soon. I am nobody today. The fact that I'm able to do this, Josh, kind of scares me.
Yo, that's okay. I didn't see that coming. I was not prepped for the invisible vanishing George, but you can hear him. So he is in the studio. And he does have a camera focused on him, but the magic of technology, he can disappear. He has a cloaking device.
I do.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wait. All right, I'm back. I'm back. What's up, people?
Man, what's going on, George? How's your weekend?
The weekend was amazing. I didn't come in here for 2 days to the studio, so like I needed a little refresher.
Okay. All right.
Came back in last night, fired up. I've been fired up ever since. I'm like, all right, not only is it time to make content that's good, but it's time to make content that is really fucking good. And that's the grind that I'm on at the moment.
Look, listen, people.
That's the side of the bed I woke up on.
People don't understand just how hard it is to do all these clips and these videos. As you can see, sometimes the channel goes cold, like the YouTube right now. I have to reload everything because it's like, some days you just don't have it in you.
Yeah.
And then also so much of our content isn't evergreen, meaning that it can last for forever. It's more or less topical and daily information. And so when you get behind, it's almost like, dang, that clip's dead now. So, it's interesting, but thank you, George, for all that you do for the show and all you do for all the shows around here, because I know how much work you do and how much time that takes away from Cam and from the family. So
yeah, she's a part of it now, dude. She's hired on. I mean, like she got the city employment thing. So like she's going to be starting to schedule things. She's going to be working here.
Okay.
She's going to be working.
All right.
Yeah, dude.
We'll do what we can.
Of course.
All right. Well, let's open the show. We're going to open the show a little bit with some Major League Baseball. MLB to open the show. We are coming down the home stretch of the Major League Baseball season. This is the final week of the season. As you can see, I'm rocking my Cubs today and not my Redskins, simply because my Cubs need the energy. This is make or break time. We are, I think, a half game ahead in the wild card race, and we've got 6 tough games this week. We've got 3 versus the Braves and 3 versus the Brewers. So we need to win at least 4 of those games to have a remote shot at doing this.
Is it who do you have coming down the stretch?
The Braves today in the next 2 days.
Yep.
And then the Brewers. The Brewers they're more than likely going to win the division. I think we're 6.5 back on the Brewers. So we've got to win.
Is the game still played on like WGN, right? Or
WGN?
Or is that it? Was that it?
That was it.
Okay, so I'm not.
No, you're not crazy. But yeah, no, WGN. So WGN has been gone as far as televising Cub games for probably about maybe 4 or 5 years, I want to say. Because that was some of the issue in terms of new ownership and all that kind of stuff. It was WGN, and then I think it was Comcast Illinois. And so the games would be split and everything. Well, the Cubs now have the Marquee Sports Network. And so we have, similar to the Yes Network with the Yankees, I think the Dodgers have one as well. But we're one of the few franchises that have our own sports network.
That's so you will be watching these games.
I try to watch as many games as I can. Especially, I mean, listen, for me, it comes down to the pitching staff. The pitching staff can't, crap the bed over this next week. That's it. Pitching staff does well, we'll be in the playoffs. Pitching staff gives up 6-7 runs a game, we might still make the playoffs, but it's going to be a much harder road to
accomplish.
To do. So.
Yeah, no, you guys got it. Not as bad as the Rangers. The Rangers still got a steep road here.
They need help. The Rangers need help
versus the Mariners coming down the stretch here. Like we gotta make some magic happen. So I haven't been following as I said I would in past shows because baseball's still boring as fuck.
No, good segue, George.
Boom.
Good segue. My question is, what would make Major League Baseball more exciting, or is it just the nature of society today that we're not as nuanced? Like you see with them adding the pitch clock this year and different things. Baseball just, like for me as a traditional baseball fan, like I can be locked in. I can be locked in the middle of July, just like I'm locked in October. But for most fans, they don't really get into it really until now. And I feel like it's a shame, but is that just the nature of today's sports? We look at football. Football is so exciting, but football is only 4 months, 4.5 months. That's it. It's all the big hits and we don't have to give so much of our time and attention over, baseball's 8 months.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Is it just the nature of today's society, do you think? What do you think?
It's definitely a mix between that and the game is just now in the evolution of changing to be a little more palatable. I think we had that big conversation at the beginning of this year. Oh my gosh, the games are going to be so much shorter. Well, they have been, and people actually like it. So I think this is like the first wave, similar to what we talked about last week in soccer, like the new facility being built. Yep. They kind of understand that it's a new leaf that needs to be turned to bring back like the prominence all the way throughout. I would say the most exciting thing about baseball until October is a Little League World Series. That's a problem.
That's not good.
That's a problem.
That's not good. I mean, for me, and we've talked about this on previous shows as well, I think it's a star problem. They don't have stars.
Yep.
They have stars to baseball people, like, so-and-so. But, like, to your everyday person, like, everyday people bought Ken Griffey's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
We bought Hideo Nomu's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Nike, I feel like Nike, Reebok to a certain extent, Under Armour, they need to do a better job of marketing these players more and making them for the masses, not just for baseball people. I think that's their biggest issue, truthfully.
Yeah. It is just a baseball people type of thing. Like, those Mike Trout commercials. Sometimes, though, Josh, tell me it isn't just the athlete. Like, there's only one prominent name that's a household figure. Actually, I would say two. I don't even put Shohei in it. I put Fernando Tatis in it, and I put Aaron Judge because he's so tall. And there's like the lure behind him.
Yeah.
Those two are household names. Mike Trout gets lost in translation. He's been so good that it's boring. You know what I mean? And he has no extra flair to him. But
injured too. He's been so injured. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably his biggest issue is he has been great, but then he's also been injured. And then we've never seen him do it in October. So when his legend really could grow, it never has grown. Derek Jeter's legend grew because of what he always did in October. You think of a lot of his highlights, a lot of them were happening in big pressure-packed moments. Diving into the stands, that's the playoffs. Making that, run across the field and catch the ball and flip it to the catcher, flip it to Jorge Posada, that was the playoffs. A lot of those Jeter moments, he had, of course, big moments in the regular season, but a lot of them were made in the postseason. And I feel like, Bryce Harper. Like, Bryce Harper was there, but then Bryce Harper started jumping teams a lot, and I think that also took away from him a little bit. But interesting. It's definitely an interesting thought.
Bryce really Harper, yeah, he is also it. But you said it's made in the postseason. We've always talked about it, and I don't know. Maybe I think this is a part of the new wave, and it'll be completely overlooked, Josh, that we've been saying this for years. The in-season tournaments. Like you need to create something where like like we always talk about it. The Dodgers, or there's certain teams that play really well when the season starts. You almost wish you can see like a end of the first quarter of the season tournament, and then it gives you an automatic playoff berth.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And we talked about it in basketball too, but when you have seasons that are that long, you have to find fun, creative ways. Another thing too, and tell me it's not weird, all these other sports are taking their talents like out of the country. Germany, all these games that are just being played in Europe, some in Asia. Why not do that with baseball?
They do.
What, like,
They
tell me which ones.
Like I feel like they've gone to Mexico City. They've gone to Mexico.
Okay.
They've definitely had games in Japan. They've done that numerous times. I know that. Like they've done it in Tokyo and in different parts of Japan. They recently had them in London. My Cubs played the Cardinals in London.
Gosh, why?
It's never a big deal. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
in the NFL, you see it coming. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always like, oh, we got a game in London. I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't make it a big thing. Maybe if it was multiple teams, or maybe if like for an in-season tournament or something, there's 6 teams that go to wherever, and then they play it out and see who's the best team. And they win they win the European Championship for the year or something. Something like that I would say, even if it wasn't a big thing for all of sports, it would be a big thing for those 6 teams, and you would engage those fan bases in a bigger way. I feel maybe.
Yeah.
But just before we get off of baseball, George, if the playoffs started today, I want you to say who you think wins. So right now in the AL, it's the Orioles, the Rays, the Twins, the Rangers, the Blue Jays, and the Astros. Who do you think out of those teams goes to the World Series?
I'm going to say, obviously, my Texas Rangers, but if I was to go by what's actually going to happen, most likely the Astros. I think they whenever you're a baseball team and you've been to the big dance numerous times, I think it, out of all sports, favors you a lot more than like hockey or NFL, like where you're so beat down at the end of the season. I think in baseball, for a majority of the time, everyone's relatively fresh, and it takes that like expertise of knowing how to own big moments. The Astros have done it. I think they'll go back.
That's it's not a bad call. I mean, listen, to your point, they've been there enough times that for them, it's just getting a seat at the table. Once they get that seat at the table, they have enough. Obviously, they still have enough offensive firepower. They obviously still have enough in terms of a pitching staff to make another run. For me, I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna go crazy, and I'm gonna say the Orioles are actually going to get it done for the first time in second time in my lifetime. The Orioles actually go to the World Series.
Wow.
Baltimore would go in. Baltimore would burn. I mean, it already burns, but it would burn for sure that night if they went to the World Series.
So you got to fill me in here, because I think about the Nationals, the DC kind of divide there.
Yeah.
What's the split between the city like?
No, you know what? It's so funny. Somebody was asking me the other day in terms of like, is there like hatred between Baltimore and DC? No, not at all. Not even a little bit. Because like people were like, oh, well, shouldn't you have been, a Ravens fan or whatever? And I was like, no, technically, if anything, it would have been the Colts. But no, we were from DC. I'm a Redskins fan.
Yeah.
And but I was like, but look, anytime the Ravens have made it to the Super Bowl, cheered for the Ravens. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they're in a different conference. It's not like I feel like if it was the same conference, it would be more. And the same thing with Baltimore Orioles and the Washington Nationals. They're in two totally different leagues. So, you have no reason to cheer against them. You know what I mean? It's not really as big of a deal, I think. But yeah, I mean, for me, I think I'm going with the Orioles for that. In the NL, we have the Braves, the Brewers, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Diamondbacks, and my Cubs as of today. Who you got over there?
Let me see. There was a team, the Phillies there.
Yeah.
They're definitely
Phillies are quiet.
they're quiet, but they fell into the same category of the way I described the Astros a little bit.
Yeah.
Same with the Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers for sure.
This is like a weird year where I've seen a lot of Arizona Diamondback stuff, like them just like remaining competitive and really battling for a division where at the beginning of the year, I really didn't hear anybody talking like, heavy on, the Diamondbacks are going to set the world on fire. Let me pick like a little barn burner here in the NL. Let me pick the Diamondbacks.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I will say as far as the Diamondbacks concerned, they have a blue chip pitching staff. The rest of their roster is just all right, but like their pitching staff is very good. And this time of year, pitching is what matters. And if your pitchers can keep that other team off the board, all your hitters have to do is just get us one or two, and we can keep that locked up. It's not a bad call. I can't go with the Braves simply because they've been so good this whole year. All it takes in October, man, is a bad week. You have one bad week, and all of those months goes away.
Yeah.
So I think the Braves have that bad week. I don't think that happens necessarily in the first round, but I think they might get beat in the NLCS. I'm man. I'll have to go with the Dodgers, sadly.
Ooh.
I don't want to, but the Dodgers always, to your point about the Astros, they're used to being here.
Yeah.
And they're used to the pressure of it. And they have a lot. They have a lot of talent. So it's hard to discount them for sure.
How do you feel about wild card games? Do you feel like it's awesome?
Oh, I love them.
Can I make it even more awesome?
Okay.
Since it's a one day anyways.
Yeah.
Make it a 3-game series and they have to play all 3 games in one day. A triple header.
Oh my God.
If you win the first 2, it's a double header.
That team literally would they would fly to that next city and have no legs, no arms.
Welcome to the wild card.
Oh, it's wild. Oh, it's wild for sure. It's the wild, wild west right now. Oh my God. That is insane. A triple header. Double header is not enough. We're starting these games at 7 a.m.
Baseball all day, baby. Baseball all day. The baseball heads right now, as soon as I said that, you're like, hey, this guy's fucking pretty smart here on the American Fan. I like this idea. More baseball.
Triple header. Oh, my God. The fans wouldn't even know how to cheer at that point. Like, we'd be stuck. All right, George. Switching gears. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and get me some Cocoa Love.
Presenting sponsor of the American Fan at the moment.
Switching gears over to college football. George, I didn't even check to make sure that you got these videos queued up. Did you get the videos? I sent them to you over on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I can get that.
But we're gonna talk a little bit about Colorado. Colorado fell 42-6 at Oregon. That game went exactly like I thought it was going to go. Listen, you lose Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is their best player on both sides of the ball, both offensively and defensively. And he's one of the best players in the country. To lose him, and then also to what we've spoken about on this show before, as far as their ability to not be able to stop the run and get leaned on, I knew that this game was going to look similar to this. I wasn't surprised, not at all. But I wanted to get your thoughts, George, and then we can start to cue some of the videos. What did you think about the Colorado game?
This game, primetime came back down to reality a little bit. The crazy thing is, with or without Travis Hunter, they still get beat by 35 points, and I don't think people thoroughly get that wrapped around. Okay,
yeah.
Listen, all right, this game, especially the way that Oregon plays, it's won in the trenches, and they were fucking dominated.
Yeah.
And they've been dominated in past weeks.
A few times.
Colorado State exposed them on that, with their edge rushes and everything. Shadur definitely has room to grow. I think this game showed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's moments in time in which, I see a Caleb Williams in a very similar situation, pocket collapsing, but Caleb Williams will find a way to get 15 yards out of nothing.
He'll find something. Yeah.
I don't think Shedur's got that in his bag yet, and I think
not that he won't.
Correct. Not that he won't.
Yeah, not that he won't.
But I think
currently
it's Colorado has a hard slate of games coming up. Next week they play Caleb Williams. And next
week is USC. I wasn't sure it was this week or next week.
Yeah, next week's USC. So they went bam, bam. Talk about two heavyweight fights. Pac-12 actually producing real football this year. You know, it's nuts. And then everyone leaves. For the first time in Pac-12's, like the last 15 years, they've been really relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, you have more teams in the top 25 than the SEC right now. And I don't even need to fucking Google that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. If not, it's the same amount.
I actually know. I think you're correct because think about it. USC, Colorado, at least for the moment, Oregon
State.
Oregon State is top 15. Washington. And Washington State as well.
Correct.
And Utah.
7 teams.
That's 7.
And the top 25. And let's do the count. All of them are practically leaving. You know?
Yeah.
Minus Washington State, and Colorado. Everybody else. UCLA is also ranked at 8.
Yeah. Listen, that's 80% of your roster is ranked.
So it's not bad that they're going to lose a significant amount of games here down the stretch.
Yeah.
But it provides Shedeur the opportunity to really like stand out. Okay, listen, if your offensive line's not going to block for you, my dog, get on your high horse. Let's start shaking linebackers out. Let's start making highlight plays. Start thinking about, your professional career.
Before we get into the videos, Shedeur Sanders, top 10 NFL pick?
Oh, without a doubt.
Wow, you think so too? That's interesting. This came up in a group of mine. Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Yeah,
I
mean, how could he not? He literally has the greatest predecessor. He's half Dion, okay? He's legitimately half Dion. So on that alone, that gets you top 10 draft pick.
Now his son's Dion?
Also his son. You are, in a way, the potential.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, dude. They draft kids in the NBA at 16 years old on the potential, all right?
Oh.
And their dads weren't half Dion.
Don't get me started about the NBA drafting on potential because Lord Jesus. For me, I won't say that this game exposed him, but it gives you enough pause to say, hey, look, listen, I want to see him do it with. Again, because okay, I'll put it to you this way, George. Last year, when he was at Jackson State, was he a first-round pick?
No.
See?
Hell no.
So now that you've started to play, I guess, legitimate talent since playing against black schools wasn't legitimate enough, now that you're starting to play those teams, I still feel like I need to see more. And I need to see more of him consistently before I say he's a top 10 pick. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. But it's not, Josh, you're thinking of it rationally. Think about a fucking franchise in the NFL that is literally a GM is about to lose the team. Head coach is about to get fired. What do? We got Shedeur coming in, man. All right. It's no different than the way the Bears with Justin Fields right now.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Now, so do you have these videos queued up, George?
I got one video queued up.
Okay.
The why Deion Sanders is feared one.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and preface this video this way. The reason that, one, I'll say the Deion video that we posted actually did really well. And I think a lot of people just want to see Deion, but I'm going to tell you why. And these clips, we can discuss them a little bit further, but I'll say why I think Deion is feared. Deion is feared because, and I think we talked about this before, his cool factor. He is cool. Deion has always been cool. He's been cool since I was a child. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that the rest of these coaches can't emulate. That's something the rest of these coaches can't fake. He just is. You know what I'm saying? And I'll let George cue the clip, but that's my initial reason for why I think they are very nervous about Deion Sanders really getting going. Go ahead, George.
Take over coaching like everybody wants them to, there's not going to be anything left for the white people. I mean, all the players are black. I mean, the only thing that the whites control is the coaching jobs. Now, I'm not being derogatory about it, but that's all that's left for them. The black talent is beautiful. It's great. It's out there. So the only thing left for the whites is a couple coaching jobs.
Yeah, maybe we need to get more black coaches, don't you?
Oh, it's all right with me. Okay, well, I'm sure that they'll take over that pretty soon, too.
You want me to tell you why there aren't any black executives? I'm not going to tell you it's because the blacks aren't intelligent enough. I'm going to tell you because it is that whites have been running the establishment of broadcasting, just as they've been running the establishment of baseball for too long, and seem to be reluctant to give up power.
But let's say what it is, that there is a sense that the black can work in the field. He can work in the cotton field, he can work on a ball field. But ask a black to use his brain, run a team, plan a team, oh my goodness, you're talking about real integration.
If they take over coaching.
So the first clip was actually Jimmy the Greek. George, do you know who Jimmy the Greek is?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was one of the things that got Jimmy the Greek fired. But I will say, in retrospect, that wasn't bad. He was actually being very honest, forthright. You know, obviously you say black people and people get up in arms. I think that was racial, not racist. There's a difference. I always tell people there's a difference between being racist and being racial. That was racial. He was saying that he felt like this was the last frontier for the black athlete, was to start taking over in terms of coaching and, well, in Brown, just Brown in general. Ron Rivera is my coach. And that was a very fair point. I think the other one was Ted Koppel, and that was all levels of racist. that went off the rails.
That clip right there will definitely
don't look good. It don't look good in retrospect.
The baseball fans are like, I don't see what's wrong with this.
He said the blacks can work in the field. I was like, oh Jesus Christ. But I think that's the reason why he's feared. When you think of Travis Hunter, number one player in the country, and leaving, he was supposed to go to Alabama, flipping to Jackson State, and then Alabama getting so upset and so up in arms because Deion and NIL deals is the reason that this kid flipped. Well, Deion has these NIL deals just like everyone else, and it's starting to level the playing field. If I can go play for you at Colorado, George, and get the same amount of money as playing over here and have fun and still get to the NFL, I'm going to go where I'm going to have some fun.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go over here just because you say I should and other players have, because that was the route to get me where I wanted to go. If that route is now this instead of this, I have more options. And that's why I think he's feared.
He not only feared, Josh, but I think he's well on pace right now. If this is what Deion's final legacy is, he's on pace to become, in my opinion, one of the greatest football coaches of all time, because he creates not only the storyline around him, but every time he gives a message, it's always something that every football coach is like, I want to take a piece of that. You know, like I really do. Like it's the most humblest way of going about it, but at the same time, he promotes his kids better than just about anybody that I've ever seen promote players. So, their left tackle looking a little weak. Foreshadowing. Yeah, you never know.
Wow.
You never know.
Wow. I will say, in terms of Deion's coaching future, it's going to be interesting for me once his children leave.
Will he go be an NFL coach? Is that what you're thinking? Because he's coached him his entire life.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like he had Prime. He had the Prime program, which was a prep school, which gave the kids somewhere, a high level national schedule. He had a basketball team and a football team. I forget what it was. Prime Prep. Prime Prep was the name of it. And that was before the guys got to college. Then they got to college, and he decided to coach in college. And I think once they leave, I don't know if he's going to still have the same love for it. I think he will, but it definitely will shift. It definitely will change because he's always coached his children.
Yeah.
So that I will say is an interesting thing to watch in terms of him being an all-time great coach. I think he can coach. I think he's a great manager of people, and he excites his fans. Switching gears, George, is Florida State for real now. They came back and beat Clemson, ending Clemson's 40-game home winning streak and 25-game home winning streak in conference. Is Florida State real?
Florida State is for real. They have some straight up athletes, man. I saw that there was one play where the D end had he hit for the Triple Crown. He got the sack, fumble, and then the ball just happened to bounce his way. I was so happy for him. Although this was a scare at the end, okay, Florida State still would have had some time left. Okay, I think even if that field goal goes through, there was still 40 seconds left.
Lord, the practice squad kicker that was a part of the team and then got re-signed because their kickers are trash.
He was on Wall Street, bro.
Yeah, bro, you got to make a 29-yarder. I don't care what we're talking. You have to make that to win the game.
I mean,
40 seconds, you're right. But 40 seconds and then all the pressure mounts and the home winning streak and all those things. Because I want to say Florida State had lost 8 straight times to Clemson. So they haven't beaten Clemson since before Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? Like all of those things, that 3 points would have been a mountain. I don't know if they drive the field to get that field goal.
It would have been a mountain. However, they are, if you're going to pick what team looks the most appealing offensive wise, Jordan Travis is there. This is the fun thing about college football, right? First couple of weeks, you think Shadur Sanders, but then you see Michael Penix at Washington going off legitimately every week. And then you see what Jordan Travis is doing. Florida State is one of those programs we've always talked about. When they're good, college football is good.
Yes. I mean, for me, listen, I'm a Cane, so I hope they're not real. I hope this is fool's gold. And
the Canes got a big win, though.
We did. We handled our business. We covered, which isn't necessarily our strong suit when we're supposed to blow somebody out, and we covered plus. So that was good.
Yep.
That was good to see. On the road, in the rain. Obviously, the rain isn't a big deal for any Miami team, but still on the road in the rain, in the cold, not bad. Are the Tide rolling once again? Jalen Milroe only had 4 incompletions on Saturday. One of them was picked off. He was 17 of 21, 225 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But this Tide team, this Alabama team is 100% behind the running game. And I think Milroe is the quarterback that at least can keep it on the rails for them enough to make them viable. They beat Ole Miss pretty handily.
I talked to my brother this past weekend about, hey, do you know Alabama has 7 quarterbacks on the roster? Like what we brought up last week. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, they have 7. And you never know with some of these schools in the transfer portal, if this is 7 quarterbacks is natural. He's like, dude, any more than 5 is kind of like bananas. Can you imagine, these quarterbacks are warming up. They're taking up half the field damn near. It's crazy.
You don't have enough managers to play catch with these quarterbacks.
Oh, dude, trust me. Alabama's got plenty of managers. Okay. I would imagine if I lived down in Alabama and I wasn't good enough to play football, I would love to work for the Crimson Tide.
That's actually fair.
Yeah, they probably never. So UNLV is always constantly looking for assistants. Alabama never posts that, bro. There's a wait list for Alabama.
That's fair. That's a good point. Who's Alabama have coming up this week? I'll tell you if they're real or not. If they're back. I mean, listen. This was definitely a missed opportunity for Ole Miss. But let's see here.
Alabama this next week has got Texas A&M or Mississippi State,
and they should win. They should win. You know what I'm saying? Mississippi State. Who do they have after that, George?
That's when they have Texas A&M, and then they really don't get tested again until Tennessee, and then that's
October.
That's a get back game.
And LSU, they're always but. I don't know who LSU. We don't LSU is ranked 13th in the nation right now. But in November, LSU could have 4 losses.
Yep.
I don't know, and I don't trust LSU most years. So, yeah.
Isn't it hilarious that at the end of the year, Alabama always does this? They play Chattanooga.
I'm looking at that.
The second to last week of the season. Is that a tune-up game for the college football playoff? Like, they're just like, oh, yeah, let's beat the ever-living shit out of Chattanooga.
What kind of nonsense did Chattanooga? I feel bad for you. That's terrible. They got paid.
They're gonna get a cold tub installed because of this ass whooping. So
cold tub.
It's good.
We better have a whirlpool sauna and everything else. I need more than a cold tub, George.
That's so
for what's about to take place. But before we get off of college, I will not talk about my Canes until we are bowl eligible. So there's nothing to talk about. We beat Temple. That's it. That's the story. That's all I got. I'm not gonna say anything.
Job not finished.
Job hasn't even started. So if we beat Clemson and then we find a way to beat FSU, I will find a way to start talking at that point.
I like it.
That if we could beat Clemson, I'll murmur. I won't say much because I think we play FSU after that. So I might just light up a little bit, but that's it. All right, George, we got about a good 25 minutes left in the show. Let's go ahead and devote it to the NFL. George, this past weekend was Blowout Sunday. I hope everyone took the over in most of these games.
Yeah, it was another week of high-scoring affairs. I think we saw NFL history.
Almost. We'll get there. 7, George, out of the 14 games that have been played already, because we still have 2 tonight, 7 out of the games were won by 14 or more points.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's a lot of blowouts.
Yeah, and not only that, but every game that you thought was a blowout going in your direction eventually fucking flipped. So, like, there was a lot of games where it was well out of hand for another team, and then the good old-fashioned witching hour happened, Josh. The witching hour on NFL Red Zone with fucking Chris Hansen, that little smiley fuck. He ruins it. Whenever he says the witching hour and the Saints have the lead, I cry. I legitimately cry.
George, your Saints took a bad loss to the Packers, listen, I'm not going to get on your team because I personally didn't even have a chance to really watch my game. The Holy Spirit was moving at Life Transformation Church
yes.
on Sunday, so I was able to watch until almost the second quarter because that was when church started. And what I can say after I went and watched the full game recap, we had moments in that game before the game got out of hand to at least keep it on the rails. We were down 10-0 at the 1 yard line. We go for it, get nothing. They go score. Like if we at least kick the field goal there, even if you go into halftime 10-3, you're still only a score back. You're still continuing to give positive momentum.
Yeah.
As far as my game, we have to find a way to run the ball consistently to not have Sam Howell have to drop back 35 times a game. That is not the recipe that I'm looking for. He's proven that he can, but a lot of the defense from the Bills were kind of giving the scouting report on Sam Howell, but with respect, some of them were even just saying, "Hey, these are growing pains for him," which was still respect. Which I was like, "Hey, that's respect," because it wasn't like, "Oh yeah, he young quarterback, he'll get it."
Yeah,
like he can't read the field. Like they were like, "No, he struggles in his progression sometimes with this." But if he sees it, he'll kill you. And like little stuff was like, okay, like that was still positive. So, but what about your game, George?
No, I kind of want to just touch really quick on you guys. I don't know if it was just the Bills dialed up the right pressure, but the Bills had 9 sacks.
Yeah.
That's the most sacks that the Bills have had since 2011 when they played your Washington Commanders. So they get after the quarterback when they get to Washington. That's for sure.
Jesus Christ.
But
what about your game, George?
I fucking hate this touchdown dance, Josh. After every Jordan Love touchdown. Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, is that what he's throwing up?
They're all doing this. It's not him. He's not full of himself, but all his teammates are like, "Oh."
That's actually quietly dope.
It's
corny.
The waddle is better.
Oh no, listen. This right here,
That's better. That's way better.
That when he started doing that, I was like, yo, that's so dope. That's really good. But I mean, listen, to throw up the hearts, you'll definitely get some female fans on it, I promise.
I don't know if that just made us soft. Okay. In the fourth quarter, we had the lead 17-0. Here's a shocking take, and I think it's an overreaction, but I kind of tried to decipher it on my show last night. Taysom Hill is killing our offensive continuity. Okay, when you have a player that is like that and that is so good and dynamic, he has ability to pass, but we have like that wildcat package for him. Whenever Derek Carr got hurt and we had Jameis flowing, okay, he needs to get into the rhythm of the game. And then we throw in Taysom Hill. And I'm just like, and it happened twice after the injury, and I'm like, I just don't think this is what you necessarily want when you have a backup quarterback coming in. We're doing this fucking double quarterback thing that I know it was already a part of the game plan, but at that moment in time, let Jameis cook. Let Jameis cook. And I know I shouldn't be complaining about one of our better players getting a couple of first downs because the plays he had were successful, but at the same time, I'm like,
it does break up
with you.
It does break up the continuity. No, you're 1,000% correct. And listen, Taysom Hill was perfect, but at the same time, remember Drew Brees used to hate it. He used to hate it too because it was like, listen, I think Taysom Hill was always very good as like a wildcat option or, or as a tight end.
I love him as a tight end.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal tight end. Let's just lock him there. All the special team things, great. Receiver, awesome. He can run slot routes. But let's stop it with this shit because we did have a chance to win, okay? And I was a groupie. First week of the season, okay, when the Saints were playing, I saw that our new kicker's name was Groupie. I was fucking fired up. I was like, dope last name. I'm a groupie for the groupie. And then he misses in Lambeau, and I think it's okay. Either two things are going to happen. He's going to come back and he's going to be Justin Tucker. I'm very hopeful for that. Or he's just an average kicker that we'll replace in about a year and a half. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Will Lutz. But I'm surprised you guys replaced Will Lutz. I always thought Will Lutz was solid.
They want to keep these kickers like motivated, unless you make it like Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
There comes a point in time after about 10 years where they're like, all right, we're done with you, bro. Like,
yeah, it's weird.
It is because they're able to do it. The Saints, no need to overreact. If Jameis plays that whole game, we win.
Fair.
Okay. The final point. Okay. If Alvin Kamara doesn't beat somebody up outside of a Las Vegas club, the Saints are 3-0 without a doubt. Okay. That's the last point on this game.
All right. Fair enough. George, I'll say this, and this is my second, biblical reference of the day. But George, don't throw stones in a glass house.
Okay.
Sean Payton, we go back to, Nathaniel Hackett, that was the worst coaching job I've ever seen. And, really, he didn't only throw him under the bus, he rolled the bus backwards, ran over him again, and then probably did it 2 other times. George, the Miami Dolphins hung 70-0 on the Denver Broncos in Miami on Sunday. They were 1 score away from tying the all-time scoring record in the NFL. And I mean, like when I looked at the score, it was like, oh my God, someone is out here playing Madden. So for the commissioners in my league, we don't have to talk about people getting blown out anymore because we could see it in real life. They got cracked by 50. Jesus. What are your thoughts on that game? Oh, sorry. And they did it without Jalen Waddle. And that was what the biggest part was for me because I was like, oh man, I don't know. Obviously, I knew their offense would do well, but I mean, what is it? His name, Achane?
Yeah, Devon Achane.
Yeah, I didn't start him in the fantasy.
Nobody
league.
did. You're okay.
Well,
my dad had him on his bench too.
Well, that hurt. That definitely hurt. That definitely hurt. That was 50 points that could have helped the brother out. Could have helped the brother out. Yep.
Oh, that's a tough one. You ever seen a fucking NFL team quit on national television right before your eyes?
No, I didn't watch any of that game.
Oh, Josh.
Really?
This game goes deeper than what it may lead on to, okay?
Good.
I think they quit I think there was multiple times in that game where you saw players like it was pride plays. You know what I mean? A lot of those touchdowns down the stretch, Patrick Surtain getting beat by Robbie Anderson for a go ball when Mike White's in. Like, if you were to tell me that would have happened in the game.
That was the Mike White touchdown? Because I saw he was 2 for 2 with
on
like
Patrick
70 yards. Wow.
So, they quit, bro. They quit. I don't know. There was no good halftime speech because even before halftime, there was a couple of plays where the Dolphins could have taken field goal points, and they were like, I'm scoring here.
Yeah.
And I think Sean Payton may have went in there and tested their pride. And when you test a team's pride, that they've been losing for the last 6 years. You know, sometimes it's kind of like a jumping down their throat isn't the best answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's
I don't know if he has the answer, and that's the funny part of it, just because of how he really threw some daggers during the preseason out towards the former coach, and that's just something you aren't supposed to do. Let's talk about some surprises this week. Obviously, as we just talked about with the Dolphins, I won't say that was a surprise to me, but again, doing it without Waddle was definitely a surprise. The Ravens losing to the Colts in overtime to Gardner Minshew, George. That was definitely a surprise. What did you think?
There's a huge play in this game that I mean, I haven't been watching ESPN to see if they're covering it or not. This game could have ended in regulation. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to do a little clip about it tonight. But this game, the Colts get a safety with 2 minutes, 3 seconds left, right? They punt it, right? Because it's the punt after the safety.
Yep.
The Ravens fair catched it. And remember, the time is very important in this. 2 minutes, 3 seconds. Devin Duvernay, if he doesn't fair catch and he runs around for 3 seconds, the Colts only had one timeout. Okay? That means you can chew up 80 seconds of clock there.
Yeah.
Guess how long their possession was once they got the ball back? 15 seconds. And then they kicked it to the Colts. Oh. It's something that I if they don't talk about this more, like, it's going to irk me.
No, they don't.
Because how could you not know that, okay, 2 minutes, 3 seconds, let me run with the ball a little bit, let me take it to the 2 minute warning.
It's honestly, it's that nuanced stuff, and that's similar to what I was telling you about, and I want to say when Peyton Barber was here, we talked about this. When you score and you already are up 7, why not go for 2? Mm-hmm. Because we have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Because now I've essentially ended the game. If we get this, the game's over. There's no more time. You aren't going to have time to get 2 possessions in.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If it's the fourth quarter and it's like 5 minutes left, go for 2. We're already up 7. We're not losing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it's little nuance like that. That's interesting. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, dude,
all he had to do was just return the punt
and then
return the kick.
Listen, the Colts may get the ball back, but you're able to take 80 seconds off of the clock.
At minimum.
2 minutes is 120 seconds. You're giving them 40 seconds left to run down the field and kick a field goal. Not saying it wouldn't have already happened, but you had a 15-second possession.
Yeah.
Piss poor. The Ravens, they're still one of my favorites, but
that's a bad loss.
Lamar looked horrible too.
Really?
Lamar just looked like he couldn't find somebody at all.
Really?
You know, like how when Lamar throws, everything's on the run, even if he's in the pocket?
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like just like these weird arm angles, but he kept missing people behind. It was evident. Every receiver, you know, their hands are supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Every receiver's hands were like down here catching. It was bad.
Wow.
That was like at least 6 times.
I know. I saw that he didn't have any touchdowns. He didn't have any touchdown passes, but he did have like 100 yards and a touchdown run.
Yeah. So he 13 times in his career, he's rushed for over 100 yards. He's lost in 2 of those. One of them came last year, and then this one was the second one.
Wow.
But usually when Lamar over 100, they're going to win.
Fair enough. The Tennessee Titans, George, also surprising. They got their doors blown off by a reeling Browns team that was dealing with the loss of Nick Chubb. Shout out to Nick Chubb. Apparently it was only an MCL injury. Don't ask how that happened. We all thought his knee and leg were compromised forever.
Yeah.
So that was at least good news. I think that was the reason why they brought Kareem Hunt back versus making a knee-jerk reaction on other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But did you see the Browns blowing the Titans out that way?
I didn't think Ryan Tannehill was that bad, but I think Malik Willis is starting here sooner rather than later. I can't keep thinking that the Titans think this is okay. Like, DeAndre Hopkins has got to be getting upset. When you just...
We talked about Mr. Hopkins. We talked about that. Hey, look, and the Titans fan base came for me. They came for us something terrible online. George was like, oh yeah, just remember the Titans. Titans were a problem the last 2-3 years. It just had injuries. And then we were like, DeAndre Hopkins could have went anywhere and been solid with a very good quarterback. And he chose to go to the Titans. And now this is what you get.
So bad. Ryan Tannehill is so bad. They're gonna lose a lot of games. They're gonna make it ugly. They may cover the spread every goddamn week, but it's just gonna be ugly. I will never take them money line. Like I don't think I could take them money line over the Broncos. Dead ass. Like I couldn't do that.
I could. Yeah, depending on where it is. If it's in Tennessee, I definitely would. If it's in Denver, I'll take the spread. Yeah. Just to be safe, because you never know. Oh man. Also, George, the Cowboys take a horrible loss to the Cardinals. Or are the Cardinals sneakily a solid little team? Because my little Washington Commanders victory in the season opener versus the Cardinals is looking better and better every week.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's talking trash on the Cardinals, and it's like, well, they were in a dogfight with the Commanders. They gave up a lead, a big lead versus the Giants, and now you beat the Cowboys, who are supposed to be world beaters, by 2 scores.
Yeah. I think there was one guy, right, Mr. Hold on. Let's get this adjusted here.
Is that Mr. Dobbs?
It's hard to see, It's hard to see.
He looks like a Martian.
Yeah,
on your phone.
That was bad. He
does white balance was off.
White balance is off. Here's the thing: I saw him at the UFC fight with John Jones. I saw him in like the booth, the Michelob booth, when I was like feeling VIP.
That's right.
Shout out to John Orlando getting us in that one. Met Josh Dobbs. I told him, I was like, man, I wish you the best of luck. I loved you at Tennessee. Never in my wildest dreams did I think Josh Dobbs would be doing what he's doing 5 months from shaking my hand. But I can't think that by me shaking his hand like that, definitely
there was a transfer of power, George.
Yeah, I mean,
transfer of power.
My favorite movie, Space Jam. I gave him the special substance through the handshake. So yeah, they're good. They're good. I mean, I took the wrong side. You saw this line start off at -11 Cowboys favor.
-11.
Then it went all the way up to -12.5. That's where I got it. And I was like, let me not be stupid. Like, the Cowboys have proven it for 2 straight weeks.
Wow.
But this game to me is a classic case of this is what Dak Prescott is. He's not a good come from behind quarterback. And when you put him in those positions, he's going to lose.
That's fair. It was so funny on that last drive. I was like, well, because remember, I think it was like 5 minutes, and I was like, this is where the Cowboys make their heroic comeback, or this is where Dak throws a pick and ends the game. And so they looked like they were starting that heroic comeback. They made it all the way down to like the 6 or 7. Here comes that Dak pick. So it is what it is. Shout out to our resident Cowboy fan, Mr. Dalvin from Jodeci. I got to check in on him, make sure he hasn't, booked a flight to Dallas to handle some business. Before we give our picks for this week, George, apparently, George, the issues in Chicago with the Bears were deeper than just on the field. Alan Williams last week, after we had our show, resigned and said that he was going home to spend time with family and to take care of his health. And later on last week, it came out that the FBI had raided his house.
Wow.
And then they refuted that story. But apparently the HR department with the Bears had hired a forensics team to go through my man's computer. So, yeah. Yikes.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't enough, George,
Tell me more, Josh.
Over $100,000 in groundskeeping equipment was stolen from Soldier Field before the game last week.
Cameron brought up a good point last night. What if it was the defensive coordinator that stole the equipment? Because he wants to start his own football team, and he needed equipment to start it, so he stole it.
My only thing is, what thugs is out here cutting grass? I can't. When I saw that story, I was like, we still in lawnmowers? I was like, bro, listen, okay, if I'm gonna steal, I'm gonna steal. We're not gonna half steal. We're talking diamonds, we're talking jewels, cash.
Nope.
Not stealing.
I just want a John Deere, bro. I just want a John Deere, and I just want to put my headphones on and just mow, brother. I just want to mow.
Oh, my God, that's too
Aren't
funny.
the fields turf? Why do they have lawnmowers still?
No. That's not Soldier Field. Soldier Field is definitely grass. Definitely still grass in Chicago, the monsters of the Midway, but that's a sad story. George, let's go ahead and go through the games quick. Thursday night football this week, we've got the Lions and the Packers, both teams 2-1. Packers at home, Lions getting -2.
I like the Packers as home dogs here, so give me the Packers with the points.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go with the Lions just because, listen, I think the Lions are going to be decent this year. My Commanders on the road going into Philly. Remember, we were the ones that ended Philly's undefeated streak last year in Philly. Philly is -7 at home.
Give me the Commanders. I don't think Eric Bieniemy can put up with 2 back-to-back weeks of 3 points. They will definitely score more than 3 points.
Fair enough. Since it's my team, I will not discuss that game.
Over.
We'll take the over for sure. Falcons, Jaguars, Jags -3 at home. Jags 1-2, Falcons 2-1.
Give me the Jaguars at home. You can't put up another performance like you did last week. This is one of those times in the league where I'm like, hey, that week before isn't necessarily as indicative of what that team is capable of. Give me them.
My bad. This game isn't in Jacksonville. It's actually in London. This is at Wembley.
In London.
Yeah, this is at Wembley. So
Jags are like the home field advantage. They always are the London game.
That's right. They typically play a London game every year. I will also go with the Jags just because of that London factor. They know what it looks like. They know what this week is like. The time difference probably won't affect them as much. I'll take the Jags. Dolphins versus the 2-1 Bills in Buffalo. Buffalo -2.5.
Give me the Dolphins. Whenever you have a week like that, I think it just feels too good. I just think their offense knows exactly what they need to do, and that means give it to Tyreek Hill in every which way, shape, and form.
I will actually go the opposite way just for that reason, because of coming off of that kind of performance. It almost was too easy. And, Buffalo might be starting to find something again, especially defensively. If Josh Allen can take care of the football, which is always its own little...
He doesn't like to do that. No.
That's our own quest. I think the Bills take that one. Broncos 0-3. Bears 0-3.
There's no way they're playing this week.
Somebody got to win.
Oh, that's awesome.
-3.5. Bears at home at Soldier Field. Who you got, George? Oh, excuse me. No, -3.5. Denver.
Yeah,
Denver
I know.
is a home is a road favorite.
Yeah, I saw a post this morning. It's like, how bad are the Bears to be underdogs to a team that just got blown out by 70 and gave up 700 offensive yards? Blows my mind.
Well, that's interesting.
I'm so glad, Josh, that this game is being played now, because if this game was in like 6 more weeks when we thoroughly don't give a fuck about either one of these teams, like it would be like a waste of time. But give me the Broncos.
I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm saying this thing is a tie.
Oh yes. Give it a final score prediction. What are they tying at?
24-24.
Oh, give me a 9-9 tie. Give me a 9, 3 field goals. Just yeah. 3 field goals and then 3 missed field goals in overtime.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Just ugly.
That's rough. Ravens Browns. Ooh, this is a good game. Both teams 2-1. Cleveland -2.5 favorites at home.
Definitely give me Lamar with the points. This past week, like I said, they had that game won if they were smart a little more situationally. Ravens are for real.
Okay. I think we're still trying to figure out who Deshaun Watson is. Deshaun played really well this past week. I think I'll go with the Ravens just because they're going to be coming in upset. But if the Browns won, I wouldn't be shocked. So I'll go with the Ravens as well. But this week will be the week that we start to actually have more of a book on Deshaun Watson moving forward.
For sure.
Steelers Texans. Steelers -3 favorites on the road.
CJ Stroud looked amazing. He's yet to throw an interception in his young little rookie career. So I think the interception does come this game.
So do I.
But I do like the Texans to win.
Okay. I'm gonna take the Steelers. As much as people have, much to the chagrin of people saying that the Steelers' offense has been trash, that's still Mike Tomlin, and I think the Steelers are going to they beat teams that they're better than.
That is true.
You very rarely see the Steelers take a loss where it's like, dang, they lost to them. Like they usually handle their business versus these kind of games. So I'm gonna take the Steelers. Oh man, another pair of 0-3s. The 0-3 Vikings versus the 0-3 Panthers. Minnesota -3.5 favorites on the road.
Give me the Vikings, or else like Justin Jefferson may just not play the rest of the year. I mean,
we're at that point.
Yeah,
we're at that point. That's fair. That's fair. Listen, if not now, like you just had back-to-back bagel games, you probably should win this one.
Out of all the 0-3 teams, though, I do give the Vikings the best chance to make the playoffs.
Yes. I will go with the Vikings as well. Rams won. Oh, well, excuse me. The Rams. I think they play tonight. So the Rams versus the Colts. The Colts are 2-1. Colts are -1 favorites at home. So this is basically a pick'em game. Who you got?
I like the Colts and the way that they've been able to stay in games. Zach Moss this past game had 30 carries. First time in his career. A perennial backup running back in the league. Finally got his moment. 30 carries, 122 yards. He's got the mileage. You know, if we're gonna start paying running backs based on the mileage, he definitely looks like one that you should invest in.
Yeah. That is the reason why running backs aren't getting paid.
Yep.
Buccaneers versus the Saints. Your Saints are -3 favorites at home. Who you got?
It kind of scares me. And I gotta start being bold in me saying that I would take the Buccaneers with the points here. I do think the Saints win, but I think this game is close. I think this game comes down to a field goal. Saints win by 3, and you'll get killed if you get them at 3.5 right now.
Well, George has the Saints going, was it 14-3?
No, 13-4.
13-4. So you can't take too many losses early, George.
No. And this is huge. This past week, I did vomit in my mouth watching that 18 points get scored in the span of 5 minutes of possession by the Packers.
I'm gonna ride with your Saints just because it's you, but I think the Bucs might get them.
Yeah, they're for real. They'll definitely cover.
All right, Bengals Titans. This game is even. Bengals are 0-2. They play tonight. Titans are 1-2. Who you got?
I said it earlier. I'm not taking the Titans. I don't give a shit if Joe Burrow's out there in crutches. Like I will take the opposite side the remainder of the year until Ryan Tannehill is not the quarterback anymore.
Joe will get it done. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, he will.
Joe's out there with a club foot.
How long until we get a Jamar Chase touchdown for like the love of Christ? Like if we don't see one tonight,
he still hasn't scored a touchdown,
or not even like a memorable like big time play. He's cold, bro. Cold.
Wow, interesting.
Very cold.
Raiders Chargers. Both teams are 1-2. Chargers -5.5 favorites at home.
This is a fun game to watch. It's going to be afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God, because this is going to be one that I want to be glued to. Give me the Chargers, but in a higher scoring affair than what we might think. I think Jimmy G being out, kind of.
Is he out?
Well, he didn't finish. Or well, he did come back last night. He got hurt though for a second there.
Really? See, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Ben Hoyer came in. We'll see. It was like he got rolled up on pretty bad. He literally got bent backwards, Josh, like
a paperclip,
like human twister, like just bad.
Oh my gosh. I will take the Chargers as well. Sorry to the hometown Raiders. Patriots 1-2 versus the Cowboys 2-1. Cowboys at home -7 favorites.
Give me the Patriots with the points here.
Yeah.
Even though I think the Cowboys are very capable of blowing the doors off it, the Patriots got one of the better defenses in the league.
They do. The Cowboys better win this one.
Oh yeah.
If they let the Patriots sneak in and get a game and that's two quick losses, they better look, the emotions in those Cowboy locker rooms turn on a dime.
100%.
So this is not the time to take losses.
Yep.
Especially early in the season, because I've said before, their season will go off the rails a lot quicker than a lot of other teams.
Agreed.
Cardinals 1-2 versus the undefeated San Francisco 49ers. 49ers -14 favorites at home.
They're a buzzsaw. They're a literal buzzsaw. I don't see any. The day a defense, the Steelers are a really good defense. Steelers couldn't even fucking keep up with them. So
that's fair.
I think this offense gives me remnants of when the Saints won their Super Bowl in 2009, where it's just like no matter what they do, they're going to put up 30 points. Impressive. I would not be afraid to even take them as with 14 points.
Yeah. The Cardinals haven't been in a blowout yet. They've been in nothing but close games. 14 is a lot of points, even though we just saw a team lose by 50.
Yeah.
I have to go with the Cardinals covering the spread. I won't say that they're going to win, but I have to go with them covering 14 every day of the week until proven otherwise.
Yep.
And it's a divisional game as well, so it's like, there's always that aspect of it too.
Mm.
Last two games, primetime games, Sunday Night Football, Chiefs, Jets. Chiefs -9.5 favorites on the road.
This is like the Chattanooga tune-up game for Alabama, right? They've had back-to-back weeks of no. Taylor Swift may be the biggest headline from this game once again. Chiefs in epic fashion.
They listen. They turned that game off in the second quarter. Like when I was watching at a sports bar with my family, and it was Chiefs, Cowboys, and I forget who else. And literally it went from Cowboys and the other team to Cowboys. They cut that game off when it was like, I think 30-0. They cut it off.
It was gross. Patrick Mahomes makes it look super easy against teams like this. He will make the Jets look like a really bad defense.
Wow, you think so?
Yeah. Yep.
Shout out to Patrick Mahomes, man. The reason I will say that I think Mahomes struggles to catch Brady overall is because he forever gets rolled up and hurt. He twisted his ankle in that game this past weekend yesterday. Just somebody falling on him. Like, you really think about it, man, Brady only really got hurt that one time with the ACL.
Yeah.
That was the only time in 20-plus years.
Yep.
Like, he never got hurt. Like, Mahomes is always banged up. He's not hurt, but he's always not 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Terrifying to think.
And exactly. And yeah, so shout out to Mahomes. I hope he continues to recover and that isn't a lingering thing for the rest of the year. Last game of the week, George. The Seahawks go on the road to the New York Giants. Giants are 1-2. Giants are -1 favorites on Monday Night Football.
The Giants are favorited in this game?
Yeah, I mean, not really. Home always is supposed to.
It'll go to a
points.
pick. Yeah, I know. It'll go to a pick 'em. I mean, give me the Seahawks right now versus that Giants team. There's nothing that impresses me about the Giants. They will be the next team in the NFL just to quit, like the Broncos did. Yeah,
you think?
I realized that, and I think they realized it too. Every time Saquon's out, no hope. There's no hope.
Oh, that's right. Saquon's still out, huh?
There's going to be no hope.
That's interesting.
That's why I'm saying, like, how the fuck is this? How did they get favored in this? this because the Seahawks just came off a rather impressive 2 wins, beating the Lions and then, beating the Panthers. Although not that impressive, they still scored 37 points.
Yeah, that's 37 points in the NFL. I don't care who you are.
That line tells me, Josh, there's people that know stuff that we don't know.
Fair enough. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the American Fan 365. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, as the Taker was saying throughout the course of the show. I apologize again for me being on a flu game and my voice being a little in and out.
Way to do it, champ. Good job.
But, we're in here. Please tune in next week as well.